Hi, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. Don't worry, I'm about to drive the bird and we're going to do some awesome yin. I highly recommend having one or two blocks available to you today and a strap. Awesome. We're going to get started on the floor in butterfly or bound angle. I think I might even have suggested a reclined bound angle. Oh, I did. All right. Let me just check on things up here on the interwebs, and then we can meet on our mat. Yay. All right. Things are clearly working. Me in uh, double time. All right. So make your way down to your mat. We're not going to need that strap for a little while, but you might want your blocks right away. As you bring the soles of your feet together, perhaps the blocks come towards the outside of your knees. We're going to lay down on the floor and just relax as much as possible. Take a couple breaths. Notice how you're feeling today. And then after maybe your first two or three breaths, you notice that it would feel better if you readjusted your upper back, or maybe you make a slight change to how you have your feet bound together. For this one, let's hang out here for 2 more minutes. Create as much stillness as you can. Use every exhale to sink a little bit more into your mat space. If you come to my class regularly, you know that I always like to close with the intention of thinking good thoughts, speaking good words, eating good foods, and doing good deeds so that you can nourish yourself from the inside out. And that's even bigger today because today, September 23rd, is Hunger Action Day. I'm wearing orange to help bring some attention to hunger needs. So important, if you can, to take the time to not just fill your own cup, but once your personal cup and your energy has been filled, to spill that out and share with others. So whether you too just bring the attention to ending hunger by encouraging others to donate their time, maybe their money if they're able to, absolutely any extra food that they might have to those in need. And also know that if you yourself are in need, how great it is to take the time for yourself for a practice like this, and that there are some wonderful resources available to you locally. You can find out more about if you just do a quick little search on Feeding America and Hunger Action Month. All right, take a moment right now to set an intention for your practice, maybe giving some positive energy to yourself. Maybe your intention is just to relax here as much as possible. Maybe you want to send some of your positive energy out there. Reminder, we're going to do our best to come into as much stillness throughout each of the postures today as we possibly can. And that we're doing the same class pretty much that we did last week, but in a different plane of motion. Awesome. So our next move is going to be a squat. Go ahead, bring your knees in towards each other. Let's flip over and get into that squat, passing through a little bit of tabletop. Maybe you even give yourself a couple of cat cows right here. And then you can step your feet up and forward nice and wide, like mats width distance apart, heels come in, toes turn out. We're going to hang out here in this squat for the next 2 minutes. If it's comfortable for you to do so, without sitting on a prop, great. But if you want to ease into it a little bit more, sitting down on your prop while pressing your elbows into your knees can help relax your shoulders away from your ears. Try to press a little bit into the outer corners of your feet and close your eyes also so that you don't see me throw this balled up pair of socks at the bird. Stop, Fred. We're practicing yoga. All right, let's just tune it out the best that we can. And I do apologize for my bird being massively unruly with my one more minute right here, feeling those hips open. Can you maybe even lift your heart up a little bit higher? Still working to get the heels down to the floor. And if your heels weren't touching the floor and you weren't using a prop, go ahead, grab that prop and take advantage of the opportunity to use it for this last minute. Last couple of breaths here in your squat. On your next exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Start to shift your weight forward. Take a moment, lift your hips all the way up. Heel toe your feet in towards each other. Quick little dangle. So relax your head down towards the floor. Take a moment, bend one knee and the other. Get a little bit of movement in your hips. And then release yourself back down to the mat. Next up, we're going to take our working towards a figure four stretch. So keeping your left leg out straight, make sure that you're stacking your shoulders on top of your hips as much as possible. So we're hinging from the hips, not finding rounding from the waist. And depending on how flexible you are, maybe you bring the inner sole of your foot towards your right thigh, or maybe you can already cross your right thigh over the left and start to relax that right knee down towards the floor. I love this one. It's a nice little self-myofascial release of the pressure of the right leg into the left quad and a great hip opener on the right side by having that extra little bit of lift. However, if you're really tight and getting that extra lift wasn't for you, that's okay. We got a couple breaths left here before we change the posture. If you're not feeling any sort of a stretch, keeping that hip hinge, you can always lean forward a little bit more. Back to your relaxed breath. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So find one spot to relax your eyes. Stay relaxing your breath. Go ahead, bring your hands behind you. Fingers can point in whatever direction feels appropriate. A nice lift of the chest and start to draw that left leg in as much as feels okay for you for a little upright figure four. You can walk your chest into your leg as much as feels okay. We're going to hang out here for one more minute. If this really doesn't feel okay for you, you can always lay down on your back and still enjoy the same stretch. Can you keep both of your sit bones down on the floor while you're here? Take your time, start to wiggle, walk that left foot back out. Straighten out your right leg. Ooh, maybe windshield wipe your legs or bob your knees a little bit. Take a couple breaths and just notice, how does the right side feel versus the left side? Maybe you notice a little bit more opening. All right. And then let's get into the left side. So find yourself sitting up again, and then either folding the left foot in so the sole of the left foot comes close to your right thigh bicep, or if it feels okay, you can cross your ankle over your right thigh. Keep breathing. Take any tension that might be creeping up into your shoulders. Use each exhale to feel a little bit more released. Even if you don't actually notice a change on the exhale, sometimes just imagining that the stress is melting away can make a difference. Start to bring your hands behind you. Remember, fingers can point in any direction. A lift of your chest as you draw your right heel in closer to the center line. And then maybe you walk your chest a little bit closer towards your bent left leg. 1 minute right here. Back to your stillness, your breath, and your stretch. Great work. Start to straighten your right leg back out. Uncross your left leg. Allow it to meet with the right. Straighten up through your spine. Take a moment, bob those knees again. And then let's bring the soles of the feet back together, this time going for an upright butterfly or bound angle. So once again, if you notice that your knees are coming all the way up towards your shoulders, go ahead and just place a block underneath of them to find a little bit of more relaxation. Maybe you even bring your hands behind you so you can work to apply some pressure of the outer thighs towards the floor. And if you're feeling pretty open, you can always come forward right here. We've got 2 more minutes in this butterfly. Once you've found the hinge from your hips, if you want to take some rounding down forward, you're welcome to do so. Maybe even press your elbows into your thighs to help encourage your legs closer towards the floor. Just find a spot that you can relax, that feels right for you, where you're still in control of your long, slow, deep breath. And if you do have any sort of a forward hinge, bring the idea to breathing to your backside of the body, creating some space between each of the ribs. And if you don't have a forward hinge, you can always still really find that lift and expansion of your chest if you need your hands to be behind you. We've got 1 minute left. So find your stillness once again. If you're leaning forward, sit yourself up. Let's take these blocks away from the outer thigh. One leg's going to stay right where it is. I'm going to keep my left leg towards the center and open right leg out to the side. You can keep your left heel right at the center line, or just like we did before we went into the figure four stretch, you can bring your sole of the foot closer towards the inner thigh. The big difference here is for our figure four stretch, we had that leg straight in front of us. And now we're opening up a little bit more towards the side. You should feel a bit more of a stretch towards the groin, the inner thigh, maybe even a little differently on the outer thigh. And you can allow your toes to do whatever feels right. Maybe they gently roll in, maybe they roll out to the side. We're here for just about 1 minute. But if you want to take a little bit of movement right here and see what it feels like to rotate that foot internally and externally to find where it feels best in your stretch, absolutely do that. Take the time to explore and then bring your right leg back in, passing back through our butterfly and extend your left leg out to the side. Ooh, does one side feel tighter than the other? It's normal. Feel free to use your hands on the floor or on your block, however you might need, and still same option, internally and externally rotate a bit through your leg and your ankle. Okay, keeping your left leg out nice and wide. We're gonna now invite the right leg to join it as we come into a full dragonfly. Once again, toes can be pointing up, or if it feels more comfortable for you, it's okay if your toes fall towards the inside. If it feels right for your spine, hands can be towards the outside slash back, which is going to be a little bit less pressure and stretch throughout the lower half. The more that you lean forward or hinge forward, the more you're going to feel that stretch, even in towards the hamstring. We've got 2 more minutes here, just a couple more minutes sitting upright before we get to lay down on our back. So breathe through the stretch. If we're synced up, this is challenging right now, but with your breath and your focus, you can do it. Start a scan of your body from head to toe. Check in on all the places that are still relaxed. Spend your breath and really use your exhale to create space, to relieve the tension both mentally and physically wherever you're feeling discomfort. Last couple of breaths right here. All right, if you brought a prop in front of you, let's move it out of the way. We're going to bring our legs together. You can pop them together and have some fun with it to also shake out all your schvilkies, or you can just swing them together. Taking 1 minute right here with our hands next to the hips. If your hamstrings are really tight, you can take a gentle bend in your knees and then flexing your toes back towards your face as we hang out for a couple breaths in staff pose before we get to lay down and reset in a quick savasana. Try not to flare out your rib cage here. So notice if opening your chest was really opening the ribs. You can still have the chest open and knit your rib cage together for a little bit more contraction and support from the center line of your body. And the more that you tighten up the front side, the less stress you might feel on the back side. One more big inhale. And on your exhale, we're going to lower ourselves down to the floor. I'm going to wiggle a little bit forward. You can use your hands on the floor if you want, or you can challenge your abs gently as you lower down one vertebrae at a time. As you get here, heels touch, toes fall open, arms close by your side, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Relax as much of the back of your head, neck, shoulders, upper back, mid back, lower back, glutes, thighs, calves, and even of your feet on the floor as possible. Let's take 3 more breaths right here. Go ahead, point your toes back up towards the ceiling. Bring your legs and your heels to touch once again. Keep your left leg right where it is, and then draw your right leg up. Bring it out to the side for a moment. Interlace all 10 fingers just about 2 inches below the knee. If you cannot interlace your fingers below the knee, feel free to use your strap right now to even just help you draw that leg up. If left shoulder rolls off of the mat, go ahead, roll your left shoulder back in and gently hug your thigh towards the center line. Relax your right foot. If your left calf muscle is touching the floor, you can relax your left foot. And if it's not touching the floor, flex your left toes to your face. Pull on your shin as you press your shin into your hands palms. Relax as much of your shoulders on the floor, as much of the back of your head on the mat. Keep drawing your belly in. You might even feel a compression, pinching sensation on the lower right side abdomen as we stimulate your ascending colon here in wind removing pose. And this is our floor version of the half baby that we did on the wall last week. Have happy baby, I should say. Take one more big inhale. On your exhale, release your grip with control. Bring your right leg back down to the floor to meet with your left. Heels touch. And then draw your left leg up. Pull it out towards the side and then bring it back in towards the center line and grab hold of your shin 2 inches below your knee. Roll your right shoulder back down towards the mat and then pull your left shoulder as close to your armpit as possible. Relax your left foot. If your right calf muscle is touching the floor, you can relax your right foot. Oh, pardon me. If your right calf muscle is not touching the floor, flex your toes back towards your face, back of your head on the mat. Start to apply some pressure. Maybe you feel the pinching compression in your lower left abdomen. This time we're hitting the descending colon. We got 1 minute left here in your stillness. So work to create that compression and contraction in your lower abs. You might even notice that your biceps are trembling from creating this compression. Last two breaths right here. Melt your upper body into the mat. Maybe pull your knee in a little bit more. And on your next exhale, release and with control, bring your left leg back down to meet the right. 2 feet touch, and then draw both knees up. You can draw them up one at a time though. Squeeze your knees in towards each other, but keep your feet side by side. Maybe you have one hand on each shin. Maybe you can grab holes of your opposite hand or wrist or elbows, but don't sacrifice having the back of your head and your shoulders on the floor. So, as much of your upper body planted on the mat as possible, all the way down to your tailbone, and whatever grip you can get for 3 more breaths. On your exhale, release your grip, release your feet back down to the floor. Yay, we've got a spine twist. Let's try a slightly different spine twist though. So open your feet, mats width distance apart. Press into the soles of your feet and bring your hips all the way to the right side of the mat. With your hips on the right, knees drop down to the left, nice and wide. So your legs are like in two 90-degree angles, and you can keep them right here, or if you want an extra stretch through that right side psoas, take your left ankle and cross it over your right thigh. And stretch your arms out to the side. You can make goalpost arms, whatever feels right. Just about 1 minute here. If you did decide to lift up your left leg and cross it over the right, uncross, bring the edges of both feet to the floor, and then use your inhale, send your knees back up towards the ceiling. Press into your feet, lift your hips up, shift them to the opposite side of your mat, and then drop your knees over to the left. Once again, option to lift up your right foot, cross it over the left for a little extra stretch through the psoas. Just breathe. If you lifted your right ankle and crossed it over your thigh, uncross it, and now draw both legs together. Bring both arms to the same side, and we're going to roll over onto our bellies. So take your time, roll over onto your belly. Make sure your strap is nearby. And before we do anything else, I'd even say make a loop in your strap so that in a moment we'll be able to lasso our feet in. Great. Okay. Stretch your arms out to the side now, palms facing down to the floor in line with your shoulders. Keep your right hand extended out to the side. Left hand comes close to your chest. You can tuck your toes under to help you roll to your right side as much as feels good for you. Knees can stay bent. You can keep your right hand close by your chest. If you're looking for a little bit more stretch, maybe try the option of clamshelling your legs open. If you want more opening of your chest, you can even take a little mini bind, bringing your left hand to your lower back and creating like a little extra wing. Maybe even trace your fingers up your back to really work on opening your chest. If you want a little bit more stretch through the back, instead of bringing your hand behind you, keep both arms extended to a T. That's what feels best for me. We got 1 minute left right here, and then we'll get the other side. Now you can check and see what feels good for you on that side, because remember, you don't have to do the exact same thing with both sides of your body. I'm a little paranoid about my shirt not being fully tucked in, so everyone keep your eyes closed. That's what friends are for. All right. If you are rolled to your right side and you have the left leg lifted and clamshelled, probably feeling a big stretch also towards that left exterior glute. If you moved your right hand to bring it back to your chest, we're going to roll back over onto our chest. And we're going to take a half bow stretch from right here. We're going to start with the left leg because that was the one that was just feeling a stretch. So go ahead, bend your left knee and reach your hand back to grab hold of your foot from the inside. And if you can't grab hold of your foot, then place that strap over your foot. Extend your right arm in front of you, palm facing down. Take a big exhale. On your inhale, squeeze your glute, lift your left leg up off of the floor. Getting a gentle little back bend, getting an extra little stretch into your quad. So we're just getting our version of how we did the King Arthur stretch against the wall. 3 more breaths. You've got this. On your next exhale, carefully release. Straighten your left leg out. Extend both arms out to the side one more time. Then bring your right hand in close to your chest, tuck your toes under, use them to help you roll over to the opposite side. And let's get our opposite side broken wing stretch. You can keep your legs together. You can clamshell your legs open. You can reach your arm behind you, fingers on your back, trace it up, get that little half bind, really open your chest. Or walk your fingers away, stay in a T, little extra stretch through the upper back, through the mid back. Do what feels good for you today. If you moved your right hand away from anywhere other than the supporting roll of close to your chest, go ahead, bring it back in, place your palm down, clamshell your legs back closed, extend them behind you, roll onto your belly once again, stretch your left hand out in front of you, reach back, grab hold of your right foot from the inside, so thumb facing up towards the ceiling, hand on the big toe side. And if you can't grab your foot, once again, just use your strap, place your strap there. We're getting a nice external rotation, opening the shoulder here. Squeeze your glutes, press your hips into the floor. You'll already start to feel that quad lifting. And then inhale, lift yourself up. You can really lift that whole quad up off of the floor. I'm only going to keep you here for a couple of breaths. Last 2 breaths. On your exhale, release your thigh back down to the floor, chest comes back down to the floor. Ooh, let go of your foot. You know what? Let's try a full boat pose if you want to. If not, you can just relax here on the floor for one more breath, maybe even bringing your hands under your head, taking alligator pose. Otherwise, we're going to bend both knees together. Knees are about 6 inches apart, feet are about 6 inches apart. Reach back. Once again, grab hold of both of your feet from the inside. Relax your head down to the floor. Bring your heels back in towards each other. Squeeze your glutes. Press your hips down to the floor and inhale. Lift yourself up. Keep looking up, 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 up. And roll yourself forward one time so that your belly is on the floor. How much of your hip bones can you lift up off the floor? Keep looking up towards the ceiling, looking towards your toes. Take one more big inhale. Kick up, look up, and then exhale. Carefully release yourself down. Yay! Now take a moment. Let's all meet an alligator if you weren't already there. And just take 3 breaths. Now take your time, roll over onto your back. One more stretch before our final savasana. You might want to have your strap nearby for this one. You got some options. All right. So we're going to draw knees in towards our chest again, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. If you have trouble with this happy baby position, you can just place the soles of your feet on a strap and really enjoy bringing your knees closer towards your chest or armpits. Maybe you can actually grab hold of your toes, but it feels better to extend your legs out towards the side in a nice big toe stretch. Or maybe you find that separate leg straddle still a little bit deeper, more into the hamstrings, a little less maybe feeling it in the hips, than the happy baby. And whichever you went for, feel free to gently rock side to side. This is our version of the uh, dragonfly with head against the wall. So we're still getting that big separate leg stretch. I know with that, when we did the wall class, we got a lot of stretches towards these inner thighs for all of the dragonflies that we got to do on the floor today. Last couple of breaths right here. Enjoy yourself. It's yoga, it's practice, it's not perfect. Just exploring and enjoying whatever our bodies can bring, as well as the ease we can find for our mind and soul today. And a lot of times, if you do find that if you are struggling internally, mentally, sometimes doing something for others can warm you from the inside, make you feel like you have a little bit more purpose, even if you feel lost in figuring things out for yourself. Giving back and helping others just make us feel so good. All right, let's go ahead, bring the heels back in towards each other, and then release them down to the mat. You can let go of your strap, extend your legs nice and long. Perhaps you decide to open them a little bit wider. Maybe you open your arms a little bit wider, or everything can stay close to the center line. We're coming into our final Savasana. We'll enjoy 3 minutes here together. You're welcome to stay here as long as honors your body, mind, soul for today. One minute left together here on the floor in this Savasana. I invite you to come back to reflect upon whatever intention you set for today's class. Okay, you can stay here longer if you like or need. If you are finishing class together, take a little wiggle of your fingers, of your toes, flutter your eyes open a couple times. Make your way to a comfortable seated position of your choice, moving with intention in a way that feels good and authentic to you. Once you found the comfortable seated position, really root down through your sit bones. Use your inhale. Bring your arms all the way up. Hands, palms come together into namaskar. Hands come down to heart center. Take a moment, tuck your chin to your chest. Honor yourself. Thank you so much for coming and joining me for today's class. I really would love to hear if you took this and the yin against the wall. Which class felt best for you? Maybe even why. Awesome. So we are together again, as always. Think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds. Take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. And once you have filled your cup, Evaluate how much energy you have that you might be able to share with others. If it feels right, bring your thumbs or your third eye, your drishti, round through your sit bones once more. Lift your heart and know that I'm so thankful for you. Thank you so much for coming, for putting out and sharing in each other's energy. And as always, know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.